Hi, I'm Drew. Welcome to the Beggars Woodshop. Everybody likes a good way to store our tools, and on Shopsmith that's no exception. They actually made a way for us to do that with an accessory shelf. And in the next part of this series, I'm going to show you a cleanup and setup of mine. That's coming up right here on the Beggars Woodshop. Come on inside.
This program has been made possible by contributions from our viewers. Thank you.
When I acquired this newer Mark V, I noticed there were a lot of different accessories, and one of them happened to be an accessory shelf. Now, it was never my intention to have one of these. My intention is still to build a cabinet that goes underneath my Shopsmith. Unfortunately, I don't really have that capability right now, both in material and in, well, space. There's a lot of other stuff I have to keep under there temporarily. So this is actually going to be kind of helpful, temporarily. But as you can tell, looking at this side, and at this side, and this is the bottom, yeah, I got to do a lot of cleanup. So why don't we open up the garage door, get out the sander, and our nice new dust collector over here. Yes. And we're going to clean this up. Now, before we go all chopping and hacking and everything, let's take a minute to talk about safety. Read the manuals that come with your power tools. The more you understand and follow those safety rules, the less likely you are to cause personal injury either to yourself or someone else. You want some kind of face mask or respiration. Cover up your breathing apparatuses because you want your lungs to survive. Hearing protection is also a must. Don't want to go deaf while we're still young. Of course, the greatest protection you can take, eye protection. You will be thankful the day these come in handy. Let's just hope they never do. I'm going to start with a 220 grit. That way I'm not super aggressive, just to kind of clean this one up. If I need to, I'll go further. Okay. Let's get started. Okay, little snag. This accessory shelf is meant for a 500 or 510 setup. I've got a 520 setup. Now, I could probably go in and look at reference material, probably try to route some of this out, but you know what? I'm not going to. I can always find alternate solutions of where to store the fence. Preferably just leaving it on the table, because hopefully I'll have it set up. Now, how do I know this is wrong? Well, it's because there's some extra slots that don't go. According to the manual, certain slots are for certain things, and both the 510 and 500 slot for the table saw just doesn't seem to go with the 520. However, I still will complete the accessory. There's a little hole right here that should have a wooden peg. Well, it's broken off. Let's fix that. There. Get our wood glue. Got up a new piece. Put that in. Let's see. Where did I put that piece? Good thing I have a 500 for good reference. It doesn't need to be super tall. If this is too long, that's okay, we can trim it down. Hopefully it's not too short, which I don't think it is. I don't usually do a spray varnish. I have to make an exception here. After all, this is only temporary. Maybe a little quick too. Well, I gave it the weekend and then some to kind of dry out. Everything's nice and smooth, everything looks good. I don't know how well it will appear on camera. It might appear a little lighter than it actually is. But I should have gone 120 grit. Really try to get some of those dark spots out. But that'll be fine for now. In the meantime, let's get underneath and I'll show you how to install this thing. Come on.
On the right side of the machine, the inner hole, in other words the closest one to the inside of the machine, is where we're going to install the first bolt. There is already a hole pre-drilled into your accessory shelf. Don't tighten just yet. We'll need a little extra wiggle room for when we install on the opposite side. Normally there is not a hole already in the accessory shelf. Mine did from the previous machine. As you can see, I'm pretty close. I think it's acceptable. It might also be a little off from when I reassembled my machine after I had cleaned off the bench tubes. This side, you would normally align it after it's level, drill the hole, and then install the bolt. Since mine is, again, already there, I'm going to install. It's okay to go ahead and tighten down at this point. And then we'll go ahead and tighten down on the opposite side once this side is tightened. Remember, don't over-tighten. Now that it is fully installed, we're going to put in everything starting on the right side on the back. We're going to start with the drill chuck. Make sure it's facing down. Now the key for the drill chuck. Time for the spur drive, the cup center, the sanding disc, the feather board, and the table saw blade. That's the back row. Now for the next row. Let's do the tool rest. Our arbor wrench. Yes, there should be a second arbor wrench. I only have one at this time. I can use another wrench for later. Let's add the tailstock. Ta-da! Now, bottom row, the 500 fence. Again, I can't put the 520 fence. It's a different type of fence compared to the 500 and 510. Now, the upper saw guard. There's also a place for a push stick located here. I didn't have one with mine, and the one I made, well, it doesn't fit. But it's still good to have it. There is a push block. I have a fence straddler for a 510 and for a 520. The 510 is what fits here on the accessory shelf. You could put it either facing towards you or towards the tubes. Doesn't matter. The lower saw guard is next. And last, but certainly not least, the miter gauge. Oh, and for the 510 fence, this is where the piece fits in. As I said, I've got a 520, but I'll find another place for it. Well, there it is, all filled up. Everything's off the ground. And say it with me, folks, it's only temporary. Now, let me show you the project we're going to work on next time.
I show you how to set up and use your Shopsmith biscuit cutter. And that's next time, right here on Beggars Woodshop.